Now, let's look at this example over here. So in this example of fractional indexes, I now have a fraction and I raise it to a fraction. Okay? So again, what does this mean over here? Okay? In our earlier example, we have already established an understanding. So let's just say I have, A over B, and this whole thing over here, I raise it to the power of M, right? Okay, so what does this tells me over here? It's the numerator, oops, it should be blue. The numerator, I will raise it to the power of M, and the denominator, I will raise it to the power of M as well. So basically that's what it means, right? So over here, it's the same thing, okay? Over here, it's the same thing. So it's telling me that the numerator and denominator, I have to raise it to this power, okay? So what we're going to do over here is we're going to write this down. So that's going to be 9 power of 3 over 2 over 4 power of 3 over 2, okay? So what we're going to do next, we are going to solve this parts by part. We can start with the numerator and then end with the denominator, okay? So again, let's do this. Let's do the numerator first, all right? We already established an understanding over here. This 2 is going to tell me that will be the square root of 9. And this whole thing, I will raise it to the power of 3. And that will be over, okay, we have done with the numerator, that will be over the square root of 4, and I will raise the whole thing over here to the power of 3, okay? Alright, so what have we applied? We have applied this rule over here, okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to expand this. So square root of 9, that will give me 3, and I have to put cube on top, over square root of 4, that will give me 2, and I have 3 over here. So in the end, that will give me 3 cubed, that will give me 27 over 8. Done. Okay, so basically that's what it means. Alright, so I have more examples over here to show you. Alright, so it's going to be the same thing all over again. Alright, so again, the second example, that's going to be 64. I raise it to the power of 2 over 3 over 27, and I raise it to the power of 2 over 3 again, okay? And then let's rewrite this. So this is going to tell me that's going to be the cube root of 64, and this whole thing, I need to square it. That's my numerator over my denominator. So that's going to tell me the cube root of 27, and this whole thing over here, I have to square it as well. So what do I get over here? Cube root of 64. Let me check that with my calculator. So that's going to give me 4 over, don't forget my square over here. So cube root of 27, that's going to give me 3. And I have my square over here as well, right? So let's solve this. 4 square, that's 16. Okay, 3 square, that's 9. Done. Solve. Okay? Same, last example over here. Alright? Now, when you already understand what does all this means, right? You can actually just proceed to, you can actually skip this step and straight away proceed to this step. Okay? So I'm going to show that for this example over here. So this one, you already know that's the 6th root of 64. And I'm going to raise it to the power of 5. That's for my numerator over here. Over my denominator. So that's going to be my 6th root of 729. Make sure the square is long enough. And then bracket, take it to the power of 5. Okay? Now, over here, actually, once you can actually punch all this value out in your calculator, and then you will get the simplified answer straight away lah. Okay? So the sixth root of 64, that's going to give me 2. All right, that's going to be 2. All right, I can also write this as like this. 2 over the sixth root of 729. That's going to give me 3. And this whole thing over here, I'm going to raise it to the power of 5. All right, so I can also rewrite it like this instead of this form over here. So again, we already established what does this mean. It's going to be this, right? So 2 power of 5, I will get 32 over 3 power of 5, I will get 243. Done. Okay? So 3 more questions over here. Same thing, but in this case, we have a negative over here, right? So it's going to be very similar. If we have negative, we are just going to remove the negative by using the first rule, right? So what do I get over here? All right, I will get 1 over 49 over 25. And this whole thing, I will raise it to the power of 3 over 2. All right, and then same thing. We can just solve this like our previous example over here. 1 over, right? Okay, so that's going to be the square root. All right, I will just write the square root first lah, because it's easy for me. Okay, the square root of 49, 25, and all this I will raise it to the power of 3. Alright, so can see 49 square root and then raise it to the power of 3, and then denominator you do the same thing. Okay, now usually what I like to do here is I would like to put a bigger bracket over here. Okay, let me change the color. I would like to put a bigger bracket over here just to show that that's the denominator. Alright, okay, let's solve this now. I will get 1 over, what should I get? Square root of 49, that should give me 7. 7 raised to the power of 3, that should give me 343. Square root of 25, that will give me 5. Raised to the power of 3, I will get 125. And finally, this answer is going to be 125 over 343. Solve, okay? Same thing over here, all right? All right? Okay, now, same thing, negative. I'm going to change this to this. Over 64. And this whole thing, I will raise it to the power of 2 over 3 over here, right? Okay, and we just solve this like what we have done so far. 1 over the numerator here, that's going to be the cube root of 125. And I will raise this to the power of 2. I'm going to make my fraction line longer. Alright, that's look good. And this is going to be over this denominator over here. So that's going to be the cube root of 64. And I will raise this to the power of 2. Okay? And then I would like to put a big bracket over here. Okay? And then let's solve this. I will get 1 over cube root of 125. I think that's give me 5. 5 raised to the power of 2, that will give me 25. Cube root of 64 will give me 4 raised to the power of 2, that will give me 16. Alright, and finally my answer, 16 over 25. Okay, solve. Now last example over here. Now instead of doing in the conventional way, I'm going to show you a shortcut over here. Alright. Now, shortcuts are great, you know. But however, if you want to use shortcut, you have to make sure you understand the foundation of it first before you move on to shortcuts, okay? But those who are keen to know shortcut, I'm gonna show you this one. Okay. Now, actually you can do something with this before you start solving, all right? Because I want you to take a look at this, you know, and this over here. It looks the same, right? It looks the same over here, right? And then in the end, what do? This 16, you move up here, correct or not? This 16, you move up here, correct or not? Okay? So you can actually do the same thing over here, you know. So like for this question, what's the shortcut over here? You can actually just swap the denominator and the numerator, just swap upside down, all right? And your power over here, the negative will disappear, all right? So remember, if you swap, all right, so if you swap, it's gonna be 128 over 2187, right? Okay? So this whole thing, I'm gonna raise it to the power of 5 over 7 now. Now this is the thing that you must be very careful with your shortcut. If you swap the numerator and denominator position, you have to remove the negative now. That's the shortcut, all right? Okay, that's the shortcut over here, okay? Okay, we can also see from over here, right? If we swap, this 64 will move up here, correct or not? And this whole fraction, it will be 64 over 125, power of 2 over 3, right? So it's the same thing over here if I swap here, right? Okay? Now, okay, so from here, we can solve this directly, very quickly. So what do I get? I will get the 7th root of 128. And I'll raise that to the power of 5 over, 7 root, I forgot 7 there. Okay, and over the 7th root of 2187. And I raise it to the power of 5 again, okay? Okay, so let me just quickly solve this. The 7th root, that will be 2. 2 power of 5, I believe, will give me 32. The 7th root of 2187, I believe we have done here, all right? So that is going to get me 3 power of 5, which will give me 243. All right? See, that's the shortcut over here. All right? So if you understand what's going on over here, I will recommend you to try the shortcut. All right? But if you don't understand the shortcut, I recommend you to play that with the basic. Okay? So that you know what rule you have to use first. Okay? So that's all.